All right, hey, it's Collin. So today I'm in a Honda Civic LX. The LX is the base model trim for the Civic. This is a 2016. It's fantastic because it gets 41 miles per gallon. But another cool thing about the Civic is, it's got this 2-liter 4-cylinder, produces 158 horsepower, 0 to 60 is about 7.2 seconds. But today I want to talk a little bit about the LX and a little bit more of like the base model trim. And I'm also going to compare it to the Porsche GT3. So let's go. All right, so the Honda Civic starts, well, back in the day, it started at $27,000, which is not bad for a little guy that gets decent gas mileage. So the Honda Civic has been around for quite a few generations. It's kind of known as that reliable daily driver vehicle, kind of the NPC car of the world. But the interesting thing is the base model is more so like it's a manual. So this is a manual Honda Civic. And it being a base model, it's really interesting because with the trim, it's super basic. There's just not much going on with this thing. There's, you have the infotainment system, which is like the Bluetooth, but that's the fanciest thing you get in this car is the Bluetooth. You get air conditioning, you get eco mode, you get good gas mileage, but there's nothing much else. You get basic interior with manual everything. You do get power windows, which is fantastic. But this is like the type of trim that you would find in like a foreign country like Mexico. This is like the trim that you would get. And sometimes simple is actually better, right? So it rides great. It's a fantastic little car. I don't have an eco mode at the moment. I have it in regular mode, but there's also these like lights that light up on the screen when you're getting like good gas mileage. It turns green, and then when you kind of get on a little bit, it turns white. It's kind of like, ooh, how dare you. It's kind of like this gentle easement of color. There's no navigation in this model. You just get this shifter. You can hang your phone up. And that's pretty much it. It's got fold down seats, but if you're gonna look for like a good daily driver, this is a good car. The interesting thing is I came from a Porsche GT3 and now I own some vehicles for the dealership. Actually gonna be showing this car in about an hour. And after coming from the Porsche GT3, the interesting thing is Honda manual gearboxes are fantastic. It's one of the best gearboxes in the business. And it feels very similar to a Porsche gearbox, which is actually kind of surprising. And you just get these nice shifts. You got 6 speeds here. You got reverses on the far right bottom. You always kind of take these corners here. And yeah, it has a little bit of understeer because it's front wheel drive. It just turns immediately. So I'm going to take this on my dirt road here, and you're going to kind of see how it handles. It's a little bumpy, a lot of dust, a lot of dirt. But it handles actually okay. It's got good struts. And it's not bad at all. If you're looking to buy one of these, I would be, you can get some good deals on the market. They're not fantastic deals, but, I'm asking like $18,000 for this car. But you also just cannot find them in a clean title. It's impossible to find a clean title, and I found a clean title one like 30 minutes from me, and this car was in the market for a little bit, and people were just kind of wary of it. I took a look at it. I thought it was fantastic. Thought it was a good car. Bought it. It was a clean title, which is great. You cannot find a clean title, especially in the Detroit market that I'm in. It's impossible. They're all rebuilds, floods, stolen. This car was in 2 accidents though, and it still handles fantastic. It was a 1-owner car. Also, the something to mention is when you're downshifting, it's actually a little weird in this car. You can't really rev match that well. It's kind of strange. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here in this V-Tec. There's red line. Nice. Yeah, so this thing goes, it's got, you know, it's only got 158 horsepower, but, you know, it's this little eco car, right? It's a fuel economy loving eco car. I would really only buy this in a manual. That'd be fun, especially if you're more so an enthusiast. The CVT is okay, but the CVT has a lot of problems down the road, especially if you want to own it for higher mileage. You know, you got that powertrain warranty, which is like 5 years or 60,000 miles, I think, with Honda, which is like okay, but you really don't have to worry about actual issues in the Civic. There's just not many like problems that actually happen when you're driving this thing. It's pretty reliable. Yeah, there's not much going on in here either. You know, it's pretty basic. There's just the Bluetooth, and you can change the wallpaper. You can change your center dash, which is digital, which is really cool. But there's just not much going on. It also has a small tank. I think it's 11 or 12 gallons. Maybe 10. It's really small, so it, you know, I have been able to do low fill-ups lately with the current gas prices at like $45 for fill-up, which is really good, with that 41 miles per gallon. The other problem I have with this car is the rev overhang. You deal with a lot of it. When you're downshifting is kind of weird because of it. It's not like it's really smooth and tight like motion when you're downshifting. When you are driving it and you know you're going through the gears, so like let's say I'm gonna go to like downshift to third here, like it's instant when you downshift, but when you upshift, the revs hang out up there after you hit the clutch pedal. So it's a little weird. It's not really like it's a very forgiving car. It's an easy clutch. It's not like other cars. The shifters feel really nice. The shifter feels very similar to a Porsche. The steering feels very similar to a Porsche. When you are kind of handling, it's just strange. Like there's just a lot of these things that this car does really well, and then I go into a Porsche and it feels similar. You know, it's got this very tight steering, kind of like a 911 or Panamera, but it's got a gearbox that feels like you're in a Porsche. The rev overhangs do not feel like that at all, but it's just got this weird like motion to it. It just kind of gives you this similar feeling. Handles well on the road. It's got these nice struts. I don't remember if they're McPherson's, but I know that that's what the older Civics had, so maybe this one still has them. It's got that V-Tec. It's got high revving, like 7,000 RPMs, which is like 6,800 RPMs, which is just like a Porsche. But it's just so much more basic. Like if you're gonna get a very bare bones, basic car, that's this just, it's gonna be reliable, it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be fun to daily, then the Honda Civic is more so what you're looking for. It's gonna be more fun than a Camry. It's gonna be about the same as a Corolla, pretty much. You know, it's a mid-sized car, it's got a good amount of space, gets you from A to B reliably. And really, like, this is like the car for you if you're really looking for kind of like a good experience. You're looking for something reliable at the same time. So it's definitely something I would recommend as like a really solid car to drive. Handling it on the road here, just going 40, you know, on the regular road. It's just a smooth driving car. It gets up to speed. You know, it's only it doesn't have a crazy 0-60 time, but it's quiet. Another complaint I also have though about this car is the seats are somewhat uncomfortable, especially going on a long trip. I definitely wouldn't recommend this if you're doing road trips across the country. If you're smaller and you're gonna do a short trip, that's fine. You're just dailying it, okay. But if you're doing a long trip, this is definitely not the car for it. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more car content, especially about the Honda Civic or any other vehicle, make sure to subscribe. I will catch you guys later.